Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Are we starting right now? Are we? Oh my God. Sorry. I was in
Dude.
virtual reality where the Lions were good. Wow. Just one more minute. Just please.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Welcome to Guys Being Dudes Fantasy Football. This is your host, Noah Upseld. We have a very interesting show for you today, and all three of the co-hosts have had extreme plastic surgery to completely restructure. So right here we have, just kidding, it's Sam Lana, Brandon Holmes, and Karan Kanatala. These are, it's got to be three of the top, if not the top three non-host supporters of the show, besides my mom. Shout out, Mom. Thank you guys so much for coming in clutch today. You know, you'd think, in a company with such great culture that a measly little holiday like Thanksgiving would just be a blip on the commitment that the other co-hosts have to the show. But no, I'm wrong. They have family they need to see, and they need to be home for Thanksgiving because they never get to see their family.
Hey everybody, checking in from beautiful Hawaii. Go Raiders, repping it on my hat. Sorry I couldn't make it into the show today, but coming in with some dudes and duds. At dude, I'm thinking that Jarvis Landry, wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, will have a big week. They've had a couple of bad weather games in a row, and I think that Baker's going to unleash it this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, a very porous secondary. And at the dud, I am thinking Clyde Edwards-Helaire of the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he's a good chance of ending up in the end zone, but I don't think he has a very good ceiling against this Buccaneers defense that is staunch against the run. And as you saw last week with McVay choosing to just pass the ball over and over and over again, who better to do that and mimic that than Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes? So look for those two to have an impact this week on your fantasy lineups. I hope you all have an amazing Thanksgiving. And one thing that I am grateful for, other than fantasy providing some structure in this quarantine COVID life, is being inspired by some of the players and coaches out there, specifically Alex Smith and Ron Rivera of the Washington football team, overcoming so much to play this year and put on a show for everyone, and continue to do what they love is really an inspiring thing during these times. Ron Rivera overcoming his battle with cancer, and Alex Smith obviously overcoming his multitude of injuries this year. So it's such a blessing to see those things come true. So good luck in your fantasy weeks. I'll catch you guys next week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Week 12, dudes and duds. Who you got, Dad? Who's your dude of the week?
Russell Wilson.
Nice. And who's your dud of the week?
Trubisky or Foles? No, actually, Wentz. Wentz is going to have a dud week.
Wentz. Okay, I got my dude of the week is Wayne Gallman against the Bengals. 2 touchdowns. Dud of the week is T. Higgins, not startable anymore. Oh, and what are you thankful for?
America and our freedom.
And I'm thankful for Josh Jacobs.
All right, let's get going. We have a great show for you today. It is a Thanksgiving edition. Brandon, who in the corner there in the Cowboys jersey, who has been a great support to the show this year, making a lot of thumbnails, helping me with my inability to know digital things. And look at that background. That's a Thanksgiving vibe if I've ever seen one. Rocking the Cowboys jersey. Over there, we have Sam rocking the Houston. Who is that, Sam? Let's see. Who you wearing?
Whitney Merciless.
Whitney Merciless. That's a real fan jersey. That's not a Hopkins jersey. That's not a Watson jersey. That is a Whitney Merciless jersey. Brandon, who
That's
you
a
rocking
nomenclature
today?
jersey.
It's been painful.
Oh, I'm rocking CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. Really?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure about that? Can you prove it to
I
us?
am.
Can
I
you prove
can't.
it to
I don't
us?
want to show the back of it.
Right. All right, Des. And Karan, what you rocking today?
I respect the troops, so I'm wearing a Pat Tillman jersey.
Wow.
Well, that takes the cake. Or does it? Because I think the most talented jersey of the four is this stud. This is a Noah. This is an original Edgemont Junior Senior High School Panthers starting right tackle, Noah Obsfeld. Okay?
You played right
Yes.
tackle?
I know, bro. The left tackle was he was the school bully. I'm not even joking. Yeah. So I've grown a little bit, as you can see. That's okay. I used to wear shoulder pads and everything in this, but still, I was a legend. When we would run the ball 99% of the game, I was blocking, and I pulled one time in the season. It was amazing, and I had the only interception of the year. Played a little bit of D-line. Quarterback got sacked, threw up the ball, landed in my hands. I was a hometown hero.
Wow.
I moved away from New York 5-6 years ago, more than that, like 8-9 years ago. And they still talk about me there. But let's get started. We have a ton of news this week. Starting off with the biggest thing is rest in peace, Joe Burrow's rookie season. Off to an incredible start. And we said, oh, damn, tore his ACL. Then we get another report. Oh, damn, tore his MCL. And we get another report, ACL, MCL, and significant structural damage. So very rough. It's going to shake up that offense that was bringing a lot of fantasy relevance to us, and that's a real shame. We wish Joe the best. Everyone loves Joe. He's totally the epitome of handsome star quarterback. But
Except UT fan.
Yes, that's true. What's not to like about him? He's just such a great guy. We'll get into the implications of that in a minute. Before I continue on, you can follow us on Twitter @DudesFootball. You can follow us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Spotify. And let's continue on.
How's it going, guys? Being dudes, thanks for having me back on the show. Quick picks from me, Andrew. My stud of the week is going to be Jalen Reagor. My dud of the week is going to be Mark Andrews. Being that it's Thanksgiving, talking about who I'm thankful for in the football world, I've always been thankful for Tiki Barber. Growing up in New York, he's the guy who got me into football growing up, so thankful for him. But watch for Jalen Reagor to have a really big game this week. Take it easy, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. See y'all.
Hi, this is Long Tran for Guys Being Dudes. And a dude for me this week would be Cam Newton. I think he's going to ball out. And a dud for me would be Edwards-Helaire. And an org or entity within football that I am thankful for this season is have to be ESPN for letting me put Taysom Hill in the tight end position. Got me a much needed win.
So, okay, I want to get into the fantasy implications of the Bengals a little bit. First off, biggest hit is T. Higgins, another rookie sensation for the Bengals. And, he almost drops out of fantasy relevance until we really see what happens on the field. But where do you guys see the rest of this offense? Boyd takes a significant downgrade. Green already shouldn't be on rosters. Mixon, we'll see, might not even come back with this loss of the offense. But what do you guys see for Boyd and Higgins going forward? What do you think?
Well, I think you still have to start Boyd, right? But
okay,
you're going to be able to count on him as like that like low-end wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2 that you were counting on him for. So maybe you go out and you grab like a Michael Pittman off the waiver if you can to maybe try and increase depth there because he's really going to fall into your flex spot from now on. And
right.
T. Higgins, man, I love T. Higgins. T. Higgins saved my season in one of my leagues. But I don't really see T. Higgins being super relevant anymore. I don't really see Ryan Finley throwing a great deep ball to T. Higgins anytime soon.
It's not Ryan Finley anymore, actually. They just got a new name. I'll pull up the name in a sec. But yeah,
I know it.
Yeah, what is it?
It's Brandon Allen.
Brandon Allen.
I don't know who that is.
Well, it's your
I share a name.
So you should.
I share a name. That's it.
I really like that analysis, Sam. I think bottom line is we're gonna have to see. I don't really want to start anyone this week. You could put in Boyd, especially in PPR. And then, moving on. Mixon, so went to IR last week. There was a tweet from a big-name NFL guy that said he wants to come back at the end of the season. But this smells to me like a season ending. I don't know why they bring him back. he has a lot of injuries. They're not a playoff contender. They want to get another pick to build this offense. I would, as a managerial perspective, I don't know why they'd bring him back. It's a possibility, but Giovanni Bernard definitely has a lower ceiling moving forward.
And
Michael, huh?
And Gio Bernard's questionable, isn't he?
Yeah, he is questionable. So Samaje Perine would have picked up, but at that point, I mean,
not my Perine.
Really desperate, maybe, but pretty much avoiding that situation.
Are you still if you have Gio Bernard on your roster right now, are you still going to start Gio this week? Because he's going to get a lot of touches. Yeah.
Yeah, you're still starting him. I mean, what about this? Giovanni Bernard, Duke Johnson.
Start Duke Johnson, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going Duke against Detroit. Cool. All right. So moving on to more news. Michael Perine, not really a fantasy relevant guy, but might provide more opportunity to Gore with a high ankle sprain out for a few weeks. Randall Cobb sent to the IR. Not a huge hit, but maybe a little more volume to Cooks, Fuller, maybe even a little tight end action from Akins. Adam Thielen to the COVID list, but he got one positive and he got one negative. So if he can get, I don't know the exact number of negative tests you need, he could play this weekend. And then a tough one for yours truly, J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram were having a little bit too much fun this past week, both on the COVID list. So it looks like Gus Edwards is going to pick up the slack there. How confident are you guys in Gus against Pittsburgh, obviously one of the best defenses in the league?
I would say probably whatever word is the opposite of confident, because Pittsburgh has such a staunch run defense. I mean, their D line is arguably the best in the NFL.
Well,
and
let me remind
stopping
you
the
that
run.
I think 2 weeks ago, J.K. Dobbins and Edwards had great games against the Steelers.
They did, but that was without the rest of the running back crew, which is they kind of like to slice and dice with their array of options. But when you're confined to Gus Edwards and what is it, Justice Hill is the other one?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be doing too much.
Yeah, I think he's still start. Let's throw him into the little mix there between Gus Edwards, Giovanni Bernard, and Duke Johnson. Rank those guys for me.
I'd take Duke against the Lions, and he's on an operational offense. And this is like you have Duke, he's on a good offense or on a decent offense, playing a bad defense. That's awesome. You take the Gus bus, very inefficient running back against the best run defense in the league. Good offense, but I don't like that situation at all. And then Gio, a lot of touches, but that offense is not going to be functional.
Yeah.
Way. So
this is where you end up at the end of seasons is picking between guys like
relying on Duke Johnson to carry you.
Yeah, everyone really thought Duke Johnson was going to be able to come out and perform, but he's been such a disappointment. For me, I'm actually going to put Gus up top at number one. The Steelers have been a great offense, but the games have been a lot closer than people have been realizing. And I think Gus is going to get a lot of opportunity. And, like I said, 2 weeks ago, I think he went for over 100 yards. And then two for me is Duke. The last time a running back didn't score against the Lions was week 6. So I think he probably finds the end zone. And then Gio, I'm worried about with that offense. They're going to be down. They're going to be passing. He could sneak in later in the game, but I'd rather take the other two guys. Okay, moving on. Christian McCaffrey not expected to play this week, but Teddy Bridgewater is supposed to be back. I like that start against the Vikings. And then back into the 49ers craziness, Raheem Mostert should be back. Jeff Wilson should be back. So, I mean, we saw Mostert with this excellent start to the season, going like 9 for 90 every week. I mean, McKinnon's been the guy the past 2 weeks, had a terrible week before their bye. But, I mean, do you guys want to touch this offense? I mean, they don't even have the passing game going. If you're going to start, it's going to be Mostert, right?
Yeah, I think
have to be.
If you're going to start somebody, it's got to be Mostert. But they're playing the Rams, and the Rams just pretty much shut down Tampa.
They've been great.
For the most part in the second half. So if you're going with anybody on the Niners, it's got to be Mostert. But other than that, I wouldn't be touching pretty much anybody on this offense.
Yeah. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Niners scored like 1 or 0 touchdowns this game. I mean, they're coming off the bye, yeah, but I'm worried about it. Debo Samuel could be a waiver wire pickup. He might play this week. He's probably not going to play. We'll see. Julio Jones questionable. He left the game last week, and Matt Ryan, as he usually does, crumbled without him. We'll see how that goes. But if Julio's in or out, it's going to be very telling on Matt Ryan. Big one here, Austin Eckler to return from injury reserve. I have been waiting for this all season, it seems like. And he might, they might start him slow, but honestly, it's going to be so fun to finally see him with Herbert and see how productive they could be. Zach Ertz to return from IR. This is kind of irrelevant for me. I think Dallas Goedert has kind of made his place as the tight end 1, or maybe Richard Rodgers as the tight end 1, who's been a very good tight end for random reasons. I think you can ignore that one. We'll see. Myles Gaskin practicing after going to return from IR. That should be icky. Ahmed's been good. We don't know really what that split's going to be, but Gaskin should return to the starting role. If your trade line has not passed, are you trying to make a move for Gaskin, or are you trying to sell him? What are you guys doing there? What do you guys think for the rest of the season? Anybody?
I probably wouldn't touch him.
You don't want to touch?
Yeah, I mean, like if I have him, I kind of want to see what happens, unless I'm really in a tight spot. And if I don't have him, I'm not going to want to pay the price that people are going to be asking for.
He's just so consistent when he was on the field as like a nice RB2. But it's just a question of whether or not he'll be featured again. Any other thoughts there?
I mean, to the extent that he's worth like 10 points a game, pretty much in half PPR and maybe like 12 or 13 in PPR.
Well, I think it's more like 13. All right, so just relax there. 10, a little disrespectful.
Well, I mean, to the point where there's going to be a split and you don't know what is saying. So I think that you don't want to really waste your time too much unless you're like just been banged up. You have CMC and a Mixon and you're trying to train for a running back. Then I think you should go after somebody like Gaskin or something. So.
That's fair. I like that. All right, we have Thanksgiving Day tomorrow. Kenny Golladay was ruled out. Kerryon Johnson and all day. Adrian Peterson, I'm not sure about that. We'll get into the Thanksgiving preview later on. But looking into last week, Taysom Hill. This was one of the bigger fantasy storylines of the year after bringing in Jameis Winston to back up Drew Brees in New Orleans. He looked all right. 2 rushing touchdowns, I think, are over 200 passing yards. Really shook up the offense there. I am fading him this week. Are you guys Drew Brees is going to be out a while. He's on IR. He could be out for the rest of the season until the playoffs. Are you guys seriously considering Taysom Hill as like a every week starter, at least a guy that needs to be rostered?
As a guy that needs to be rostered, absolutely. As a every week starter, I would say no.
Okay.
I mean, we still haven't seen him throw a passing touchdown. I don't know if his running viability is going to last past a couple games, just in terms of once people get a little
accustomed to it.
Maybe they'll realize, oh wait, he actually can't throw or something like that, and can just stack the box against him. We'll see. But I will say, I just absolutely love watching Taysom Hill be on the field for every snap. Like,
he's a fun little player.
The Saints games are rising to the top of my watch list every Sunday from here on.
Interesting. And that defense has really stepped it up in the last few weeks, which is great for Taysom's ability to rush. The one thing I will say about that offense, though, is they were playing the Falcons, and it's still like, Taysom Hill. So that defense is gonna hold them together. But let's see what happens going forward. And then XFL superstar PJ Walker looked all right. There is transferability from the XFL. The question everybody was asking. Teddy Bridgewater will be back, but I guess a decent backup we know for the future. Cool.
I do want to point out though that was against the Lions, so
that's a good point. It is against the Lions, but they shut him out, man.
He threw one pass into the end zone that was about 8 feet away from the nearest wide receiver. So
yeah, but
I'm not too
dime
sure.
down the left sideline to DJ Moore.
That was an incredible pass.
I don't know anybody who could. That's an Aaron Rodgers level pass.
Nobody
right there. There's guys.
Nobody from the XFL specifically.
Nobody from the XFL. Right. That should be the new line for Are you good? Could you?
The cream of the crop XFLers.
All right. Here's a fun one. I wish that Michael was here to witness this, but we have Mike Glennon being named the starter. Jake Luton has been not good. Those interceptions against the Steelers last week were some of the worst, kind of a PJ Walker style interception, if you will. But listen to this tweet from Mark Long. Here's the craziest part. Mike Glennon got benched in 2017 for Chicago's Mitch Trubisky, who got benched this year for Nick Foles, who got benched last year for Gardner Minshew, who got replaced by Luton, who is now benched for Glennon. It's beautiful. Circle of life. Sweet. So let's get into a little Thanksgiving preview. I mentioned the Lions. We'll get into in a sec, but Ravens, Steelers, everyone was so sad about this. This is about to be a beautiful day of watching football tomorrow, but now the Ravens, Steelers is delayed until Sunday. So we have two shit games. Houston versus Detroit. That's up here. And, we kind of got the color schemes down, even though we got Detroit, Houston, Dallas, and then, you got your Washington colors there for sure. So
that's Pat Tillman.
This was all intentional. And, hey, I bring the set everywhere I go. Yes, I'm back home, but the set travels with me. Look at that. Look at the production quality here. That's a Lions hat, okay? You don't get that in other shows. Fantasy footballers, my ass. Okay. Houston versus Detroit. The Lions are just doing their thing. Let's win a few more games and go for that 12th pick because why not? Let's just be mediocre forever. I would hop back into my VR, but it looks like my sister stole it to go play. But I'm going to hop back into my alternate Lions good universe later. Sam, when I'm back home, we can hop into a Houston being good universe as well for you.
Hey, it was last year.
Jeez, we're all fans of just terrible. Karan, though, Arizona fan. We'll get into that later, but you just got to let us know how that feels. Lions in shambles. Kenny Galladay out. Amendola out. Swift questionable. I doubt DeAndre Swift plays. I am so tired of Matt Patricia. DeAndre Swift got hurt in practice. This guy is literally, bring in Adam Gase, please.
Whoa.
Be careful what you wish for.
Dude, it's just we're going to lose. We might as well lose. Stop trying to, be something we're not. Don't get our star running back injured in practice. And I think if they play Swift, I guess there's technically still a playoff push for the Lions, but it's just hard to watch. I'd rather just be the Jets right now and just be really, really bad on purpose. Mohamed Sanu coming up for the practice squad. You guys going to fire him up against that terrible Houston defense? Probably not. But it's
maybe in my 20-teamer.
Yeah, it is Matthew Stafford. If you're going to plug a random receiver into a role, I'd like a quarterback like that. And then fire up Houston D. Which one of you idiots put that in?
It was not me. As someone who's watched the Houston D,
I don't think you could fire up the Houston. Maybe if they're playing the Edgemont Junior High Panthers, maybe fire up the Houston defense. But otherwise, I would leave them on the waivers. And we got Dallas versus Washington. Dallas offense, okay. Dalton, a little 3 touchdowns. Zeke, 100 yards and a touchdown. Due to the week, shout out myself. And then Antonio Gibson really getting that RB1 workload. Karan, I kind of regret trading him to you earlier in the season. What was that trade? Was it for Parker?
It was for Devontae Parker, yeah.
I think that's one of the trades I've lost this year. That's for sure. At the time, it seemed like a good idea, but my running back situation has been decent. Any other thoughts on these terrible, terrible games?
I was just wondering,
yeah,
would you play this week Taysom Hill or Andy Dalton?
Taysom
Hill.
Yeah.
Taysom
Hill. The Taysom Hill floor is good. He'll probably get a rushing touchdown. He has like a 15-point floor, I feel like. Maybe 12. But But I mean, Andy Dalton could crumble literally, as we've seen. We don't know. Okay, let's get into a very fun segment. We have been working so hard at this. I mean, you have rocket scientists, you have Nobel Peace Prize winners, and then you have minds like ours that come up with genius that you're about to hear. It's a Thanksgiving episode, so we have a full Thanksgiving table in front of us, and we are just going to name each dish after a player and tell you why. And yes, this is totally ripped off from another very popular show, but
Less
Twitter
popular
takes
show.
Twitter takes the stories and we take segments. It's part of the biz. Okay. Starting off with the main course, turkey. Okay. Decent all year. Pretty good all year. Throw it in a sandwich. Probably not going to have it for dinner, but when it comes to this time of year, it's fall, it's getting chilly out, and the demand goes way up. It's Derrick Henry, okay? This guy is his November special, okay? And he's huge, and he's thick and meaty, so it works out. All right, Karan, you helped me a lot with this segment. Why don't you go ahead? Give us one.
Hey, can we call somebody thick and meaty on the airwaves, or is
It
that
just happened, so I guess we can.
Okay. Well, another thick and meaty guy. Not as meaty, but saucy. TJ Hawkinson is cranberry sauce.
Why is that?
Not super important nor that crucial, but it's like an added bonus. It's like solid on the side. He kind of does his own thing and produces, and that's what you want out of cranberry sauce on a good Thanksgiving plate.
Okay, so this was a tough one. Stuffing, but stuffing I feel like could hit so hard and just be amazing, but you just don't know until you bite into it. You got to just go for it. You can't really, tell by the looks of it. And that's Mike Williams, a big hit or miss guy, could hit hard or could bust really hard. You have no idea until you try it. You plug them into your lineup, or in this case, your mouth, and go for it. All right, how about green beans? This one, I like this one a lot. It's Todd Gurley, okay? Yes, he looks terrible in the field. Yes, he rushes for 2.3 yards a carry. Don't quote me on that, but it's about that. But hey, he's an RB1, and sometimes you just got to eat your vegetables. And other things look prettier, other things taste better, but yeah, you got to have some green beans, and that's Todd Gurley.
There are some things that you don't like, but they're good for you, and they're good for your team, and that's Todd Gurley.
Hey,
that's Todd Gurley.
Yeah. When you get older, you start to know you gotta just have some greens with the rest of what's going on. Okay, mashed potatoes. Hits every time you try it. Could get you a little chubby. Can you guess who it is? It's Nick Chubb. It's Nick. I know. And who always is coming with Nick Chubb just to make it smack even harder? Gravy. Kareem Hunt. Nice. Love it. Moving on to a kind of variation of potatoes, I think. Sweet potatoes. A little Chubb light. Antonio Gibson. Still gets it done. Not as much of a bruiser, but 16 for 94 last week. I love it. And then the little marshmallows on top of the sweet potatoes. Little target, little dump off here and there. Probably wouldn't be great on its own, but marshmallows is J.D. McKissick. Then we got cornbread. And, guys, this is going to be a controversial take potentially, but I think cornbread can leave the pantheon of Thanksgiving foods.
Hot take.
I agree.
I disagree.
I agree.
Yes, it can be good sometimes, but you think you need it on the table, and I don't really think you do. Nobody wants to say this, but yeah, and that's Robbie Anderson. You can just take him out of your lineups pretty much. He's been terrible the last few weeks. Brandon, are you okay there?
Well, I just think the Robbie Anderson and cornbread disrespect is really it's taking a toll on me mentally. I think that Robbie Anderson really throws a lot of talent into your lineup, and I think cornbread also throws a lot of talent into your spread, your gourd for Thanksgiving. It's not exactly something that people think about whenever they're drafting their Thanksgiving meal lineup, But
exactly how it works.
if you get it at the end, it's always going to find its way right under the table or your lineup in this case. And I have to disagree.
I don't know. I think cornbread's going to be on your first plate.
I think
It's
you're
not gonna be on
wrong.
your second or your third or fourth. But another version of cornbread
That's
that
cornbread.
can be a little bit redeeming, but probably still should leave it. That's jalapeno cornbread, and that's DJ Chark. Just probably can leave him on your waivers with these quarterback switches and just not doing that well. Okay. Salad. Carson Wentz. Why the fuck did you bring this? This is not the idea of the evening. We already got our greens. I love the reactions there. We already got our greens and the green beans. We don't need anything else. Just why did you bring a salad? Well, that's for Friday and Saturday when you're just depressed by the 3 pounds you gained from Thursday's dinner. Nobody asked for it, and you can't come to Thanksgiving again. You bring this. All right, here's a good one.
Honestly, that was just disrespectful because I eat salad, and Carson Wentz makes me physically ill.
So it's disrespectful to salad.
Yeah, I like salad. Salad is good.
I just don't think it belongs at a Thanksgiving table.
It's typically bad for you. Carson Wentz.
All right. Maybe Carson Wentz is like, I don't know, rat poison on the table or something. Mac and cheese.
Expired food.
Expired food. That also would work. He has expired. Mac and cheese smacks every time. Always consistent. If everything else on the table sucks, just keep targeting this. Target the mac and cheese. That's Keenan Allen. You like that one? That's a good one.
I'll hit sometimes 20, 25 targets of mac and cheese.
Dude, honestly. Herbert loves some mac and cheese. Rolls. Bread. That's the Steelers D. Okay? You're not sure who else is going to be on your plate, when you go back to grab more, but each time, it's going to be a solid choice to bring some Steelers D to your plate. Karan, why don't you take one?
Yeah, then we got, sometimes at Thanksgiving dinners you just need like a kicker to your meal.
Sweeten it up.
So Young Hue Ku. Okay, it's not Young Ho.
Thank you.
It's Young Hue.
Isn't it Young Wei? I've never really gotten to the bottom of it.
Whatever.
It's the Joe Buck pronunciation.
Ku is the kicker.
Yeah. Young Wei Ku.
Pumpkin pie, the kicker to the meal. Here's one of my favorites, pecan pie, which is my favorite pie. There's never a pecan pie you taste that's below like a 9. Any disagreements there?
Nope.
Honestly. And, you're just head and shoulders above the competition of other dishes, and that's Travis Kelce. Thank you for bringing Travis Kelce tonight. Lastly, Cam Newton, Tofurkey. Okay? You think it's going to, hey, technology has come a long way. I think this could, I want to be environmentally friendly. I want to be good to the animals. You take a bite. This is nothing like the original Cam Newton, the original turkey, and how it's supposed to be. You want to give it a chance, but it's just not going to be the same. And then lastly is a honey baked ham. And that's Christian McCaffrey because, yes, it would taste good, but it's just not here. All right. Let's get into some key players. There's a lot of big developments this past week, a lot in my favor as well. Irrelevant, but let's get into it. Starting off with J.K. Dobbins. Yes, he's going to be out this week, but finally we saw a really workhorse carry load for him. 15 for 70 and a touchdown. Gus and Mark had, I think, 5 carries together. So even when J.K. and Mark are back, J.K. Dobbins could be a league winner, something I tweeted about a month ago, I think. Thoughts on J.K. Dobbins' value going forward? Are you going out to maybe even trade for him right now?
He kind of got COVID, bro. So, yeah,
but he'll be okay. He's a young buck.
He has antibodies ROS.
What if he dies?
If he dies, then my prediction would be wrong. Would be even potentially a playoff loser.
Well, J.K. Dobbins, he has Jacksonville and the Giants for weeks 15 and 16.
Nice.
So if you're a team that has a really great week 14 matchup or you have a bye, I do think he has a potential to be a league winner, 100%.
Wow. That's really humbling, man. Thank you so much.
It's really insane.
Another Raven, Marquise Brown. What was he, like a 5th rounder this year? 6th, maybe?
Unfortunately.
Drop him. You can drop him. I mean, is there any reason to keep on your roster?
You could trade him for a really uninspiring running back like a Le'Veon Bell. I think
I can give you a handcuff.
anything
Williams.
like that.
Yeah.
Because he does have a really good schedule for the rest of the year. But as we saw last week, I think he had 2 or 3 targets, and he dropped one that I think my grandmother could have caught. So
I like that. Jonathan Taylor. What a roller coaster. I mean, now he's got 22 carries for 90 yards against the Packers. We've seen it before. Are you guys going to be fooled? Is this the guy the rest of the season? I think he is. I think that they're saying this is the playoff push. We're going to feature our best running back. But I am getting everyone. Not you guys think it's Hines?
I just feel like we've been fooled before.
I want to be fooled. I want it to be that way.
Jonathan Taylor is fool's gold. Like
Please.
it's going to be metaphors for the rest of the segment.
Please.
It glitters on your bench, and then when you put it in your lineup, you just realize what it is.
Honestly, that's a perfect example. Deontay Johnson quickly becoming a wide receiver 1. I said to fade Deontay Johnson early in the season because of all the injury issues, but 16 targets. I mean, what is that? Keenan Allen out there in the Steelers. Only problem is that I think there is a ceiling for the passing of Big Ben weekly because they are going to be ahead. I mean, they haven't been that far ahead, but Deontay Johnson, I think you can really put into that really low-end wide receiver 1 category. Juju, fade, but Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson are such easy every week starts.
I do have a hot take about the Steelers wide receiver core.
Please enlighten me.
I think that for our playoffs weeks, your week 14, 15, 16, if Juju is not injured from stepping on that flag as we saw last week, I think he will be the star target for those weeks because, one, the Steelers are going to be targeting their undefeated season, and 2, Juju is very involved on social media, and I know he is getting absolutely bartered fans telling him, please help my fantasy team. I swear to God, if you don't make me win my championship, it's over. And he wants those TikTok followers. He wants those TikTok followers. He wants those TikTok likes. He's absolutely begging for targets in those weeks. So
Chase Claypool is coming in hot with the YouTube channel, man. I've watched one of his videos.
That is true.
Pretty bad, but he could get better.
Be terrible.
He could contact you for help. I don't know.
Bro, this is Chase Claypool. All right, we just finished practice. Time to go to the cafeteria. That's just what he sounds like the whole time. But I mean, what a beast of a man. Jesus, have you seen that guy? Like, I don't think the 4 of us could beat him in a fight. Julio, we'll see. Mentioned him earlier. If he's out, Matt Ryan sucks. Aaron Jones, last 3 weeks, 58 yards, 46 yards, 41 rushing yards, but I think he is a league winner. Detroit, Carolina, and Tennessee in the playoffs, that is a recipe for success. I'm playing him in a few leagues, I'm sure, in the playoffs because that's just how the world works, and I think he's going to be great. Here's an interesting one. Alvin Kamara. So I sent a big trade out in a 14-man league today, and that was Alvin Kamara for Derrick Henry, which I think honestly is a long shot to be accepted. But we just saw a completely different Saints offense with Taysom Hill. It's his first game in his career without a reception. That's crazy. I'm worried about Kamara the rest of the season. If his bread and butter is that Drew Brees dump off, because he is something I heard that was really interesting. Kamara is Drew Brees' mobility. If Drew Brees needs to escape the pocket, he just dumps it to Kamara, and that's basically except obviously Kamara's the most agile player in the NFL. But with Taysom out here offering a lot of mystery from the quarterback position, being able to pass and throw, I'm really worried about Kamara being what you drafted. I think he could even go into and maybe even as bad as a Nick Chubb range of points, or maybe a James Conner, maybe not in between those two guys. If you do have your trade deadline in the future, are you guys looking to move Kamara for this reason?
I'm totally with you, Noah. And this was actually what I was trying to ask you earlier in the show.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm super concerned about Kamara. I don't see Taysom Hill being the type of guy who dumps it off. I don't see them leaning even on the running game as much anymore from the running backs when Taysom Hill can just run the ball. So I'm concerned about Kamara, and I think that, depending on your format, right? Like he could be as high as the number 3 or 4 fantasy player overall, counting quarterbacks. And if you can flip him for a 2-for-1, maybe get an Aaron Jones and a lower running back or something, or Aaron Jones and a low tier wide receiver 1.
Honestly, though, like, who do you want rest of season right now, Aaron Jones or Kamara?
I want Aaron Jones.
Guys?
That's tough.
Honestly, in that one, I think I'm going for Kamara. Aaron Jones, we've seen him fall off a little bit because Aaron Rodgers' just passing volume is just maintained. But yeah, I think but for name value, you could get a guy like Aaron Jones and maybe a Will Fuller for Kamara probably. And I'm totally taking that side. But if you want to trade Kamara for Aaron Jones straight up, I would not blame you. Any of your thoughts on Kamara? I'm worried about it. I have him in one league, and he's carried me all season, but it looks like, yeah.
I think if you have Kamara, only trade him if you know you're getting guaranteed consistent talent. And my other tidbit of knowledge I would give is if you're in a league and you do not have Kamara, do your best to try and get him. Don't send off your first round pick. Try to combo your maybe 2 and 3, 3, 4, somewhere around that value. See what you can do. And I know whoever has him, one of y'all has him, right? Noah, you have him?
I have him.
I'll send you some.
Yeah. Who's your running back in care? Who's your top guy?
I got Adrian Peterson. You want him for tomorrow?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, okay,
Please send me that.
Brandon, if you're interested in Kamara in 10, send me an offer.
I'll look.
All right, now we're going to take 5 minutes to just send each other offers. You kidding me? 2 guys back in the every week starter conversation, Ezekiel Elliott and James Robinson, both looking good. James Robinson, Michael wanted to fade, and I wanted to fade too, but he is very, very good. Karan, you have a thought on Kamara you want to add in?
Yeah,
Let's hear it.
I was just going to say, it's fun to watch the Saints play with Taysom Hill because they're running a lot more zone reads, right? And Taysom Hill's like looking to see where the defensive end is crashing the line. And all these teams have so much film on Alvin Kamara that they're going to crash every single time. And that's how Taysom was so effective in the run game against Atlanta, if you see a lot of those plays. So I think that defenses are going to know by looking at the film from last week that they're going to be running. Taysom Hill's not Drew Brees. So they know that to expect something different now. So I think Kamara is going to gain a little bit of his value back because defense is going to respect the zone read more. And also that opens up the play action pass to dump off to Kamara too. So I think that if you trade for him and somebody's scared, like if you encounter a Noah or a Sam that's like freaking out about Alvin Kamara, like losing his value with Taysom Hill, definitely go after that because that's somebody that you'll see going to regress back to, not regress, but get back to his mean.
Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe let me rephrase my point. I don't think Kamara has lost his value. He's still going to be a running back 1. Like, that's not up for debate. Is he going to be the number 1 running back or number 2 running back? I don't know. I think in my opinion, we've seen the peak of his value this season.
Karan, you never answered my question. Aaron Jones or Alvin Kamara?
I'd have Kamara because Aaron Jones is like so boomer bust. Like he'll either win you a fantasy game all by himself or you won't need him to win a fantasy game. Like, because he's not playing that well. So because of that, I just take Alvin Kamara because of stability, and in the playoffs, you need consistency.
Well, so one running back, I'm not too confident in Kamara going forward, but one running back I am giving a little boost to is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He had a bad rushing defense, which is, but the fact that they're giving him those red zone carries through the whole year, and I mean, one 3-yard rushing touchdown, one 14-yard rushing touchdown. He has a really tough playoff schedule, and obviously the Chiefs are always going to be passing first offense. But I thought this was a really important game for Clyde. We didn't see barely any Le'Veon. He has, he's pretty close to as talented as Kelsey and Tyreek. He's getting up there, and I think he has a much higher floor going forward than we thought if this offense was just going to stay passing the whole year. One other player I want to talk about it, Kenyon Drake. 11 carries to Chase Edmonds 2. Very interesting. We really thought this was going to be a split going forward, but they were both in the passing game. I think Drake, you could start him. I think he's maybe not an every week starter, but if you're trying to figure out between these guys like we were talking about earlier, Duke, Giovanni, who do you want to start this week? Drake against the Patriots or Wayne Gallman against the Bengals?
Wayne Gallman.
Wayne Gallman.
All the way.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
People hate on Wayne Gallman. He was sitting on the waiver wire in one of my leagues this week, and I scooped him up. He has been consistent over the past 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
Half PPR, it's like 12 and a half, 13.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns before the bye.
Yeah.
Can't disrespect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not very good, but he's fine for fantasy.
That's who they're giving carries to, and he's going to get them. DJ Less, more like DJ Moore, if I do say so myself. You guys like that, huh? A lot of yards with PJ Walker, and it's looking like he is becoming the number one in this offense again, and Robbie Anderson is looking like bad. So DJ Moore, every week starter. I wouldn't recommend trading him away for a handcuff and a bad quarterback, which is what I did. And then here's a fun one. So we saw the Eagles just get demolished. This is now the hand sign for demolished, I guess. Demolished by the Browns, and Wentz is going to just be a big party pooper for Miles Sanders because if he can't get that offense going. But where do you guys see Miles Sanders for the rest of the season? Is he still going to produce that RB1 quality?
God, I really so personal anecdote here. I drafted this guy 5th overall.
That's your first mistake. Oh my God. 5th?
Because last year, this flake of a co-host, Michael Smith, drafted him right in front of me. I was so pissed. I did not want anybody to get Miles Sanders this season. Reached for him because he was super effective second half of last season. Finally got the volume. And this year, Dougie P, every single time the Eagles offense rushes the football well, will just completely abandon the run game. And it makes absolutely zero sense when you know your quarterback is struggling to not feed Miles Sanders, who's still super effective. He's still averaging above 4.4 a carry.
Yeah.
And of course he's been hurt for a couple games, but he's been super efficient in the time he's been on the field. But Doug Peterson just has such a short leash on his running game, even when they're effective, that just
the thing I'm worried about though is I'm worried about Miles Sanders. You're starting him every week, but if the trade deadline hasn't passed, I would, maybe you still have name value. But listen to the schedule. Seattle this week, should be a decent start. Green Bay should be another great start. But coming to the playoffs, New Orleans, incredible rushing defense. Arizona, how's that rushing defense, Karan?
It's not that good, but
it's also not that bad.
It's serviceable.
Serviceable. And New Orleans and Arizona, Eagles are going to be down, of course. And then you got Dallas in 16, but by that time you missed the playoffs because Miles Sanders has stunk it up. So, yeah, I'm worried about him. Don't force a trade. But Sam, what do you think?
I have him in one of my leagues. Luckily, I'm not in the situation Ron was in. my running back room, I drafted Dalvin Cook first round. I took Miles Sanders late third round. So I'm very happy, comfortable with Miles Sanders as a high-end RB2 for me. And I'm also in a situation where I need to win now. So I'm keeping him. I'm not trying to ship him off.
Yeah.
I want to capitalize.
Win now, I do think, yeah.
And Green Bay next week. But if I was a lock for the playoffs, I would absolutely be trying to flip Miles Sanders.
I like that. Let's go into America's favorite segment, Dude and Dud of the Week. Going into last week, I had Ezekiel Elliott's return. Good. Joe Flacco has a decent play. Good. What do you mean? Yeah, he had 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Get off my case. Jacoby Myers.
That's 14 fantasy points.
Hey, that's what I predicted, and he was a decent.
You know who also had 14 fantasy points? Kalen Balaj.
Yeah, that's a running back, and in fantasy football, actually, so running backs don't really score as many points as quarterbacks. I'll explain it to you later. Don't worry about it, man. Jacoby Myers.
That's even worse. Wait, wouldn't that be even worse for Joe Flacco?
Yeah, but 14 points from a running back is good.
Yeah, that's my point.
Okay, Jacoby Myers. Maybe I kind of get into the streamline mode when I'm hosting, and I kind of don't. Logic sometimes flees me. Jacoby Myers I thought was going to be a great start as well. Did bad. Kalen Balaj, pretty good. Christian Kirk, bad. And then Dud of the Week, my Tom Brady pick was great. Thank you. Rodgers was a bad pick. Bucks backfield, good pick. AJ Brown, bad pick. Damn, I love reading.
And
Let's get
AJ
into
Brown
this
really
week.
only became a good pick at the very tail end of the game.
But that touchdown he had was beast mode.
Beast
my
mode.
God. Let's get into this week. I got a quadruple Dude of the Week, starting off with Michael Pittman versus Tennessee, Jakeem Grant versus the Jets, Teddy Bridgewater versus Minnesota, and Salvon Ahmed. Savon, I every week I complain about not knowing his name, and every week I don't make an effort to figure it out. Versus the Jets.
You got it perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Messed up by saying that anything. I should have just stayed quiet. Damn it. All right. Sam, this is an interesting one.
I got a double one here. And my first one is kind of niche for me, but I know there's people out there who are in the same spot as me, where you have a really good team and you've had just garbage quarterbacks all year. I started Carson Wentz multiple weeks, so if that gives you an idea.
He had some decent weeks.
I'm out on the waiver wire. I'm looking for quarterbacks, and I went out and I spent $1 on Derek Carr, and I'm going to start him for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to start him this week against Atlanta, one of the worst passing defenses in the league, and then I'm going to start him next week against the Jets, another one of the worst passing defenses in the league. And I'm going to be very happy if my predictions come true. Hopefully above 20 points for both of those games.
It's a double week, double dude, first of its kind. Go ahead.
Double week, double dude. And, and this other dude, we just talked about him, and he should do well for the next 2 weeks as well, and that's Miles Sanders. If you guys have watched any Seattle games, you will know their defense is historically bad. Like I think it is the worst defense in the NFL right now. Whoever is like their coaches have Bobby Wagner missing assignments. He's a Hall of Fame linebacker, first ballot, and he's missing basic assignments. Miles Sanders gets into the secondary more than any running back in football, right? He's averaging about 5 yards per carry. So as soon as you get past the defensive line, which is the only good part about Seattle's defense, Miles Sanders is just going to tear him apart. I expect a monster game from Miles Sanders this week.
I like that. Here we go. I've been waiting for it.
Okay. So, got a special shout out to Gary Williams, who 2 years ago said Alvin Kamara, Dude of the Week, after he had just gone off for a bazillion points the week prior. But seeing today how...
Hey, don't forget, last year, he had a Dalvin Cook 1 week as well.
But this year, given the uncertainty, the recent uncertainty surrounding...
Yeah, very fair.
I got him as my Dude of the Week for sure. As crazy as or as not crazy as that sounds.
Wild.
And for a little bit more spicier dude of the week, give me Devontae Parker against that horrible, awful New York Jets secondary.
So, wait, before we move on, I mean, let me just pull up the lineup. You're the one who gave me Devontae Parker. Let's see if you think I should start him. All right. So, I got Julio, questionable. But and I got Cooks, A.J. Brown, Cup. Are you starting Devontae Parker? Wait, I don't have Devontae Parker anymore. I traded him away. I totally forgot. I'm in 6 leagues and I'm an old man. But hey, who do you like, Devontae Parker or Cooper Kupp this week against the Niners?
I like Parker. Isn't Richard Sherman coming back this week for the Niners? Isn't
that is a good question, but I think that'd be a Woods play probably. I'll take that bet with you. Let's smack that on the wall.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, I'll take Devontae Parker. Give me that.
Sweet, Brandon. Who you got?
So I know we talked about this earlier with the Colts backfield, and my dude of the week will be Nyheim Hines. I know Jonathan Taylor just on uptick in his usage. Here's the thing, though. They're playing Tennessee. What happened last time they played Tennessee? Nyheim Hines was absolutely manhandling them. Tennessee does not have a very good run defense. I think it's one of the bottom 5 in the NFL. Absolutely, Nyheim Hines around the side on a wheel route, dude is going to be absolutely blowing it up.
All right.
I'm taking him.
Let's take half PPR. I'll take Jonathan Taylor against Hines. Let's smack that on the wall as well.
Hines on him.
We smacking everything today.
Hey, you got to get a smack with Sam. Get a smack with Sam.
All right, Sam. You like Miles Sanders this week? And let's see, who do I like this week? Will you take – I'll take Kareem Hunt over Sanders.
Where are the Browns playing this week?
The Jaguars.
Half or full.
I'll do half. Give them the benefit of the doubt.
Half PPR. Oh man.
Come on, I could have said Chubb.
That's my Jaguars you're talking about there. The proud franchise.
One of Sam. You gonna smack that?
I get on the wall, man.
Smack it on the wall. All right, now I just have to create a bet with myself. Let's get a dud of the week. I'm gonna go Taysom Hill. Okay. So Taysom Hill, like I said, it's a great floor, but I'm just fading him against. We just saw Denver, pretty much dominate the Dolphins' offense last week. Obviously, a different offense, but we've seen Taysom. There's not a lot of mystery to the game anymore, and I think that I guess this means Kamara is gonna be the dude, right? Taysom Hill, I think he has that nice rushing floor, but I think the passing goes down. And I guess Kamara, that I put 2 and 2 together. There you go. Taysom Hill, I want to fade this week.
All right. My dud of the week, and this is a contingent dud. Justin Jefferson. If Adam Thielen is out, we got Carolina. Pretty good.
There's no contingent duds.
Okay, well, Justin Jefferson, non-contingent dud. I think he has a bad non-contingent dud. I think Carolina's a tough matchup. I think we haven't really seen him excel against tough secondaries, and we haven't seen him play without Adam Thielen. So, or we haven't seen him do well without Adam Thielen. So I expect a bad week from Justin Jefferson.
Huh.
Okay.
Go for it. What you got, Karan?
My dud of the week is my own Kyler Murray. His shoulders hurt. Sprained ACL.
Crazy dud.
And it's his throwing shoulder too. And the thing about that offense is it needs him to throw to open up those zone read running plays. And if he can't be making those passes, like he was struggling to make some of these passes to DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk. They were all high, low, overthrown, underthrown. And he won't be running as much because he can't take another hit like he did. I just don't think the fantasy value is there.
I mean,
I know,
okay, but are you not benching him?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Noah, give him a quarterback that he will smack on the wall in favor of Kyler Murray.
Russell
Well,
Wilson.
throw me a QB.
Russell Wilson versus the Niners.
What?
I'll take Kyler over Russell Wilson.
I'll take Russell Wilson over Kyler.
Okay, that's
okay.
Smack it on the wall.
But they're not playing the Niners.
Who are they playing? Wait.
They're playing somebody else.
Yeah, the Seahawks are playing the Eagles.
Oh,
they're playing the Eagles.
I'll still take him.
You'll still take him? I'll double take Russell Wilson.
That's a gift. That's a gift to you, Karan.
And then Brandon, who you got?
Well, I know Karan has the ASU gear on, but I have to say, Brandon Ayuk, is that how it's pronounced?
Ayuk, yeah.
He is not going to be doing a great job against that Rams secondary. Absolutely not. The Niners have really had Brandon fill into that role ever since Kittle went down as far as the number one target guy. But the Rams will absolutely demolish him this week. They really need wins. This is a big divisional matchup. They will be absolutely locking him down. And I bet Jalen Ramsey will talk trash with him as well.
Isn't Ayuk on the COVID list?
He is currently, but that was from 2 weeks ago, and they had a bye last week. That's the only reason why he's still on it.
That is a good point. Okay, let's get into some waivers. Starting off with a few quarterbacks to take a look at. Jared Goff and Phillip Rivers both have pretty good schedules coming up. If you're looking for a guy this week, Daniel Jones. And as Sam said earlier, Derek Carr also has a great schedule. So these guys are all decent guys to pick up. One running back who I said you no longer needed to roster because of the offense being terrible is Tony Pollard. I think he is back into the handcuff conversation. That's why I said, oh no, hold on. There we go. Back into the handcuff conversation, and I think that if you're a Zeke owner, you go back and pick up Pollard. Obviously, you got to drop somebody, so that's a situational situation, one of your classic situational situations. But take a look at grabbing Pollard again. James White, Rex Burkhead looks like he's going to be out for the year. So James White slots back into that receiving back role. And, I mean, every time one Patriots running back is cut off, another two replaces it. So again, Sony coming back. It's really this might be the best fantasy thing I've ever come up with. The Patriots backfield is the Hydra. It's just there's another one coming up. It's fantastic. So take a look at him. If you're in PPR especially, he needs to be owned. And then Wayne Gallman, like Sam said, could be still out there. You need to pick him up.
He is rostered in less than 50% of ESPN leagues.
That is wild.
Consistently about 15 touches a game. Go pick up Wayne Gallman. It's ridiculous that you haven't picked him up already.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of a deep dive into some receivers here. Michael Pittman needs to be rostered. Jalen Reagor needs to be rostered. Okay, getting into Nelson Aguilar, Deebo Samuel, both need to be rostered. Okay, but getting even deeper. Let's take a look at the Jets receivers, okay? Denzel Mims, second round, right, Brandon? Second round receiver out of Baylor. Last 4 weeks averaging, I liked him a lot, but he's not doing that good. He's averaging 3.25 receptions for 6.5 on 6.5 targets for 54 yards. He could step it up. I don't really see it happening. Crowder, start of the year, listen to these targets, 13, 10, 10, 13. Last 2 weeks, 2 and 3. So huge drop off with Flacco. If Flacco, who is the – Jeez, I'm blanking. Who is the quarterback there?
Darnold? Sam Darnold?
Thank you. I was thinking Sam Bradford. I'm like, that's not the guy. Sam Darnold is to come back. I really am putting Crowder back into that situation. I think Crowder is going to be dropped in a few places after this week because he's probably going to have another dud. And I think you grab him with Darnold coming back. But Perryman, I mean, I've been talking about Crowder and Mims all year, but 7 for 155 and 3 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks for Rashad Perriman. That's a guy that you can plug in, especially this week against Miami. I mean, it's not a terrible defense. They're going to be behind every game, and he might even get another touchdown. Also, not a bad DFS play. Okay, another receiver, Jakeem Grant, had a bad week this past week. Week before, had a touchdown with moving up into the wide receiver 2 role there. Tua has been bad, but I kind of think the offense, has a steady incline for the rest of the season. And Jakeem Grant is a guy to keep your eye on in deeper leagues. Tim Patrick over 100 yards. This guy is like a solid wide receiver 3. I mean, there's so many random names coming out of Denver all the time in terms of pass catchers, but he doesn't find the end zone much, but he is that field stretcher, and I think should be owned in 14-team leagues. I have him all over the place. Okay, here's a guy I just been waiting to break out, and it's Rashard Higgins. Let's take a deep dive into the Browns. Baker hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 weeks. We've had 3 straight terrible weather games. Week before that, he threw 5 against Cincinnati. Okay, yes, we have Chubb back. Yes, Chubb and Hunt can pretty much beat most of these terrible teams they're about to play, but they're about to play the Jags, the Titans, the Ravens, and the Giants and the Jets. When they play the Titans and Ravens, Baker's going to need to pass. And Jarvis Landry hasn't been the clear one. I think in those 2 weeks, Rashard Higgins could offer excellent waiver wire value. Against the Jags this week, we'll get to see. There might be some more passing because of the sunny Florida weather we're going to have. But keep an eye on him. He could be a really solid play for weeks to come where Baker has an opportunity with these non-terrible weather games. Lastly, tight end Jordan Akins looks like he is the tight end in Houston, and with this tight end landscape that everyone keeps complaining about, he is a guy to watch. Any other waivers we are considering, guys? Enlighten me.
Dalton Schultz, I think, is rosterable.
If you're maybe.
I'm a Noah fan, and I've considered picking up Dalton Schultz multiple times. I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but I do think about it on the day.
I think you're starting Fant pretty much every week, but Dalton Schultz still seeing volume. You gotta respect it. All right. Anyone else there?
Yeah, I'd say Dalton Schultz is worth an add, especially with any Dalton back.
Who do you want, Dalton Schultz or Jordan Akins?
I think Schultz has more receptions than Akins.
I'm going to go Akins. It's because Cobb is on the IR, and we don't know David Johnson's status. I think Akins could see a little more volume. No. Karan says too. All right.
I don't see Akins taking that volume. I see Kiki QT taking that volume.
He's pretty cute. All right, let's get into our final segment. It's our DFS lineups. We have a bunch of guests today, and guys, listen up. Told you to prepare your lineup, but I didn't tell you this. 3 of you going head-to-head this week. Whoever gets the win in most points will receive a 6-pack of beer, or if you live in another city, the money for a 6-pack of beer. Send me the receipt.
Whoa.
Send me the receipt. I'll send you, and you go grab your, be easy on the budget here. Maybe you don't need your fanciest IPA. I don't start work until Monday. But with this cash coming in, go crazy. So I'm going to start it off. I know, very exciting. Just hold your horses. I'm going to start it off with my lineup. Let's pull it up real quick. Have your guys' ready. Okay. $3 lineup is Justin Herbert, Dalvin Cook, Kareem Hunt, Nelson Aguilar, who I think should be called Nelson Aguilar. Am I right?
Whoa.
Not bad. Keenan Allen, Jakeem Grant, Austin Hooper, Rashad Perriman, and Browns defense.
I like it.
Let's hear him, guys.
I got Derek Carr, Nick Chubb, Zeke Elliott, Julio Jones, Jakeem Grant, Devontae Adams, Austin Hooper, David Montgomery, and the Vikings defense.
Sweet.
Yeah, I got DC, We already talked about mashed potatoes and gravy. I'll have both my running backs, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I got DJ Moore, Devontae Parker, my dude of the week, Michael Pittman, tight end Waller, Wayne Gallman, and the Giants defense.
Wow. Had I known I could get a 6-pack of beer, I probably wouldn't have been as cute with my lineup picks. But looks like I'm going to have to be cute. My quarterback will be the guy we've been talking trash about this entire night, Matt Ryan. We'll see how he does. Hopefully Julio is present. Running backs, Nyheim Hines and Mr. Gravy Train, Kareem Hunt. Wide receiver, Terry Mac and Cheese, McLaurin. Also Michael Thomas and Michael Pittman, the Michael brothers. Throwing in Travis Kelce at tight end. Going to see John Brown do pretty well against that Chargers secondary that has pretty much played pretty decently this year, but they'll be focused on Stephon Diggs. And my last defense, also a defense that we talk trash about. But here's the thing. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I put Terry Mack in my lineup. I had to get the Seahawks defense against the Eagles because that's just where my NFC East camaraderie sets in.
All right. Well, we will receive your updated lineup after you change it because it's a Sunday slate. But I love those nicknames. That's probably my bad. But I love those nicknames. And hey, now you know there's serious shit on the line, so you don't have to be so cute.
It's true.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Guys Being Dudes Fantasy Football. You can follow us on Twitter at Dudes Football, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. These guys really came in clutch for me this week, showing their true loyalty as friends, but more importantly, as lovers of Guys Being Dudes Fantasy Football. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. I love you guys, and I love everyone watching. For all the Belgians, Thanksgiving is an American holiday where we eat turkey and have different values and stuff. Whatever. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.